Today, we are going to be looking at how to leverage the local resources. And I really hope that you are going to engage each other and learn from one another. Just for the sake of those who may not know me, my name is Lucy Njue, and I am a proposal development consultant with 13 years of experience working with the humanitarian and the development sector. And in this period, I've been able to interact with different kinds of projects in different sectors, in health and nutrition, in education, in women empowerment, child protection, youth empowerment, among others. And I've also been able to work with various organizations in different teams, different types of organizations, international, local, universities, NGOs and such, and been able to really support various organizations in fundraising and in raising resources, in grant writing especially. And these sessions are just for me to share my experience and hope that, we get to learn from one another. So without much ado, I will proceed. And for today, I hope that we can look at some of the opportunities that are there, or the opportunities that the local resources present for us as the NGOs, as CBOs, and especially as startups. Look at some of the sources of funds and strategies that we can use so that we can take advantage of the local resources. And I would like to start with a quote by Mark Twain, which says that the secret to getting ahead is getting started. For those who have been listening to me, you've heard me say so many times the importance of starting doing something. As startups especially, we tend to register our NGOs, form our CBOs and our nonprofit organizations, and then we kind of get stuck, waiting for money, waiting for resources to come. And I think there is a kind of when we're starting something, whether it's business, whatever kind of anything you start, at times when you're starting, you have a lot of energy, you have a lot of, psych, and until you start, and then you find it's a little bit hard, it's not as easy as you thought, and we tend to get discouraged. But the point is, keep doing something. And I keep saying, do, step by step, small steps each and every day, and let's do something. And for it's by leveraging on the local resources that you're going to help us to at least take some steps that can prepare us, for the future, for bigger grants. And it's very possible, it's very doable. I have seen it work with many organizations. So let's get started, let's get moving. Let's see what we can use, what is available to us that we can use. So one of how I look at it, or the opportunities that we have right now, we have a growing culture of giving in Africa. There's a lot of, in the past, we have really been depending on the, like the international, a lot of international aid, a lot of external aid coming through to Africa. But the amounts, from the research that is going, the amounts are reducing day by day. And not just amount reducing, but the competition is also becoming very steep. And so you need, even as we look for resources beyond, we also need to look at how can we take advantage of the resources within Africa. And the advantage is that now we have a growing culture, we have a growing economies, a middle class that is coming up very strongly to support, some initiatives. And so those are some of the things we need to take advantage of, or we need to be aware of, that actually we can tap into in Africa, we can tap resources where we are. There's an increase in corporate social responsibility. I think right now almost every organization, every business, every corporate has a department that is responsible for social responsibility, and they're seeking to really do projects with social impact, projects that have impact. And so it's up to us as the people who are doing the social work to see how do we then take advantage of these resources, how do we make sure that we can work with the business sector also. So that's a huge opportunity for us. Of course, there is a growing social media and the digital space again that presents us with an opportunity to easily fundraise at low cost. Unlike in the past, where fundraising was such an expensive venture, you had to look for people, maybe organize events and dinners. So it was only left to a few. But even as a startup, you can actually run a campaign, in the digital space and be able to raise at least the starting amount, some amount of money for yourself. So that's an opportunity that, again, we need to, see how we can take advantage of it. It's not just for the other people. It's for us. We may not have the skills, but we can ask for support through volunteers and get some funds through the online space and be able to take advantage of that space as well. And of course, as I say, local resources are very important for us as startups because it's what is going to help us to build our portfolios. We will not be able to benefit from the large grants if we cannot show what we have been doing, if we cannot demonstrate our capacity, demonstrate our impact, and it becomes impossible, almost impossible, to get huge grants. So we need to start where we are, utilize the resources that we can be able to easily access. Okay, it may not be that easy, but that we can access within easy reach, and then build our portfolios, and that gives us a platform to help us then seek funding beyond. When I talk of resources, you'll note I'm not using the word funds here. I'm looking at resources. So we are going beyond the cash, the funds, because it's a tendency to always think it has to come in cash form or in funds. So when I'm talking of resources beyond cash, we're looking at in-kind donations, because that's where at times we need to start. Time, asking people to give their time for free, it's all these resources that we are looking at. And we need to look at the different sources of local resources. Could be government, could be foundations, NGOs, corporates, and businesses like you've talked, and also individuals. And actually, there's a lot of support coming through from individuals right now. And so this is an area we need to think how to tackle, how to take advantage of individuals, so that, because at times people are getting tired of giving, people want to contribute and they want to give to people who they know they are very passionate. So unlike in the past, you will find there's more goodwill among individuals in terms of giving. So what are some of the general principles before we go to the strategies? The general principles that we need to have in mind when it comes to fundraising, and this cuts across all kinds of fundraising, it's that it's a people-to-people approach. Fundraising is about touching people. It's about, even when you are writing a proposal, which I teach a lot for those who have been in my class, it's about writing something that touches people, that makes people really see, this person has thought about this idea and it's a good idea, and it's an idea that has impact. So it's really a people to never forget that it's people, it's convincing people. So you have to bring yourself down into talking about things that stir kind of emotions and make people really want to support. People need to see your commitment, especially if you're going to the individuals. They need to see that you're really committed to your agenda. And that's why I keep saying you really need to start doing something about your idea and your vision, and you cannot afford to give up. So you need to show that commitment by going out of your way, by looking for partnerships, by looking for, doing something, giving your time, your energy and everything. Making personal contact is critical when it comes to fundraising. So you identify the people you want to approach, but also make a personal contact, not just sending emails and calls, but if you can actually do the physical meeting as much as possible, the better for you. And that's why networking becomes very key in fundraising, because it's in those fundraising, in those maybe meetings, conferences, meetings, that you get to have a personal contact with some of the people that you want to approach to support you. Fundraising is all about building relationships, networking. And lastly, what we forget is that you must be able to ask. You must ask people to support you. If you want funds, you have to ask. Just because you have a very brilliant idea, very, a good vision, it doesn't mean that the minute you share your vision, then people are going to support you. You have to actually say, I am looking for this and this kind of support. So that's where I wanted us to start. And then I go to all issues around your board. And I want to talk briefly about the board, because board members and committee members it's a very critical team for mobilization that we tend to not take advantage of. It's a resource. It's actually a key resource that you have. Now, as a vision bearer or the founder, remember you do not own your NGO or you do not own the organization part. Owning means, in terms of like companies where I can say, this is my company. When it comes to the nonprofit, it's really, you are like a facilitator. You are the founder. You have this vision. You are the vision bearer. So especially in our setup, what I've noted is that we do not take the role of the board seriously. Both the founder may not appreciate the board also may not appreciate their role. And that's why I thought it's good for us to mention that the biggest role of a board is to actually help in resource mobilization, in fundraising. That is one of the critical roles. It is providing leadership of the organization and helping in mobilization. So I just want to encourage, if you are a founder or in whichever organization you're working for, the engagement of board members is very important. And why it becomes important is because, we are carrying a very big burden as founders, as individuals, as CEOs, yet you have a group of people that you can actually sit with and figure it out together, and that is their role. So I want to advise that you make sure that the board that you have is a board that is committed, that is willing to support your cause, and that is going to be, participating in your activities. Especially if you're a startup, this is the kind of, you want a board that is going to support you from the word go with ideas when it comes to networking. So you can imagine when you're alone and you're trying to think, who do I target? Who do I talk to for my vision? Who do I reach out to or for support? But if you are 7 of you or 8 of you seated together, brainstorming becomes easier. You are taking advantage of the network of the 8 people. So every person comes in with their network. One person knows maybe someone who is running a supermarket, or knows a friend who is, who is influential, who works for a foundation. So the people that you choose for your board as board members, or if you're a CBO as committee members, becomes very important for you, especially in terms of mobilization, in terms of networking. So this is one of the things that we may not realize, but can actually be what makes some organizations to grow very fast, whereas others are still, really struggling, because you are doing it all by yourself. So take advantage of your board, bring them on board, have meetings, regular meetings, brainstorm together, come up with ideas, assign each other different roles, and even in some cases, contribute if you have to contribute, especially when you are very new, but let it be clear, this is our role. And if you're coming to be a board member, this is what is expected of you. So they have to be supportive and they need to be there for you. So please, let's take advantage of our board as a key resource that we have within our reach. The other aspect is the seeking community support. Now, remember, we are running our projects in the community. So we need to make sure that our communities are involved in whatever that we are doing. Whether you are meeting, young people, whether you are focusing your audience is your target group maybe is women in the community, whether it's women from whatever, it's a community of people. At the end of the day, your audience is a community of people, and there are many stakeholders involved. If you sit down and actually think around it, you realize that you can actually be able to achieve a lot of your goals, especially when you're starting, by just seeking their support. But for them to support you, remember, you have to be addressing a need that is, they really feel it's a need within the community. So let's say you're addressing issues to do with poverty, you have to package it in a way, we said it's about stirring emotions. You have to package it in a way when you talk to them, they see it's up to them to come and do something about it. They have the capacity, they have the resources. So for you, you can actually become like, like you're inspiring people when you're starting, like you're really motivating them, so that it doesn't look like you're always coming to bring funds. Of course, if we work as a community and we're able to achieve something, then we attract funds automatically, or not, okay, may not be automatic, but you have the portfolio to then be able to attract funds. So rally your community, the people your audience, look at the stakeholders. So let's say you're focusing on, or your target group is young people, or maybe even school-going children. So who are the stakeholders who can help you, to figure out or to come up with projects? We are talking about even the teachers, the community opinion leaders, the chiefs, whoever, depending on your setup. And it doesn't matter whether in town, whether you're in the rural areas, there's a community that you can take advantage of. Okay, not advantage in a bad way, but you can work with to address some things and build a portfolio or something to show that we have had impact. So, and the idea is to make people own their problems and see that they have the capacity to actually do something about it. And you are coming here to help them think through, you are coming to help them come up with strategies. What can we do with what we have? And I'll be sharing with you some scenarios that we can use. So like I said, when you're seeking this community support, remember, you're not just asking for cash, we are asking for in-kind donations. We are asking them to join us during sessions. For example, you can ask, like I was giving an example, even people as simple people within your community, shopkeeper, to provide refreshments when you're going for a session within the community. Ask members, maybe if you're doing to do things like books, donate clothes. You know, some of those things may not seem like they may not give you direct cash, but for startups, it helps you to be, you know, for people to trust you. It helps you to build your credibility when you can be able to seek people to support you, the community to rally behind you, and be able to meet a need within the community. So that is one thing that I find at times we struggle so much, yet we have a lot of resources. If you map out, say you're in a rural area, you know, there's local businesses within that area, without thinking about the big corporates. Who can you address? If you sit down with your board members, who can you actually reach out to and support you, whether in kind? If they can give you cash, the better. It doesn't matter how little the money is, but they help you to start off and to stop using your cash, you know, from your pocket. Because what happens is many founders start using their own money, and then you feel drained, you feel you actually give up on your dream very fast, and you just feel this wasn't meant for me. But it's because we don't tend, we take it up like our thing, instead of trying to see how you can work with the community and to leverage on what they have and the resources they have as much as possible to address a need within community. So I just want to give you some scenarios that we can help us to think outside the box and to be able to achieve some of our goals. So let's say you want to do adolescent sexual reproductive health trainings for school-going children within your community, and you don't have resources, but that is something that you really feel passionate about. You really want to do something about it. So you could start as simple as, you know, maybe mobilizing alumni members of that school, going back to them and asking them, could you come in as volunteers? I know in Kenya or in Africa, the whole concept of volunteers is not very common, but it's something that I think is becoming more and more acceptable. Getting like alumni members of schools to work with, come give their time, run sessions with them at basically no cost to them, because the idea is to meet a need, and for you to be able to show that you have reached a certain number of people, you have something that you can show when in future when you're looking for funding. So mentorship programs can work very well. You can work with the religious institutions, maybe just do a meeting with them, do a simple training for the youth groups, and then start a program with them where they go to schools, teach this, educate or raise awareness on a particular topic. So that's what I mean when, especially for starting, using the resources that are available to you. If you want to do, for example, a women economic empowerment project, you can start the self-help initiatives where people come together, they have savings, they save and loan each other, or the merry-go-round ideas, and they can grow to be very big projects, in the long run, if you manage them well, and if the community trusts you, and you work with them, come up with a project. You could even come up with a project where you're going to contribute and make sure that every household has maybe even maybe if you're targeting maybe an asset like a cow for their milk, or even I've seen people grow, coming up with ideas of having water storage facilities for households. So this is where you start, basically start by mobilizing the individuals, mobilizing the community members to support your ideas, to work with them as volunteers, and build a portfolio for your organization. So don't sit down and say, I do not have resources, I do not have grants, so there's nothing much I can do. You spend all your energy writing proposals and looking for funds, and you get overwhelmed. yet you could have started a project that, yes, it's low level, but it keeps you going, and it will grow slowly by slowly until you're able to then easily access more funding. For corporates, again, map out within your reach, people that you know around you, the local businesses, see how you can work with them to support you, like I have mentioned. And I've seen a project like a CBO that organizes, attaches youth to the local artisans. So they get the youth who have finished maybe like Form 4 or even dropouts, and then they talk to the local people to support them, to help them to build a skill. And they're not a big organization. You start it at community level. Before you know it, you have supported 5 or so young people. They have gained a skill. They have been employed in maybe even in as a mechanic. They are doing something. They are earning some income. That's a success story for you to tell. So take advantage of such ideas. Think around, think outside the box, work with the corporates, the businesses, without thinking of the big corporate. Just think what is within your reach and see what you can do within your reach. If it's government, again, you can approach government people to help you with facilitate sessions. At times you go to the community, you are running a project, and like someone was telling me the other day, and they get a lot of cases that they cannot deal with. They have cases because they're doing some awareness, but then people come with specific individualized cases, and they want to be assisted, and they don't know what to do. You can partner with a government facility to be offering some of those people maybe counseling services, and you see it will not be at an extra cost. Or even you can bring in a government person to come and be with you during such sessions, and they will offer their services. Even if you give them a token, it's not the same as if you are to bring in a consultant. So I think me, I'm very big on government. Work with government. See also how you can link your beneficiaries to access services, to access bursaries, government bursaries, to access youth enterprise funds. And when you do such things, make sure you always document them, because this is what is going to help you again now to show, I have a portfolio, I have done 1, 2, 3, I have helped this number of youth to be able to access funds and to transform their lives. So those are just local resources you can take advantage of. When it comes to NGOs and foundations, one of the strategies that I've seen working very well is where you identify a mentor. So if you are a small organization, you can look for a kind of like a mother organization that you ask. Again, it's about asking, it's about presenting yourself and asking and being very clear, I would want to work with you. You hold my hand. So you work together, but basically they are mentoring you. They are holding your hand, and when they get funds, they subgrant small amounts of money to you. So you become like a mentee. You learn on the job. You get to get ideas of how they operate, but they hold you, because it's hard when you're alone. It's hard when you have to set up systems with no funds and everything. But if you have someone who's committed to mentoring you, even when they're doing a proposal, they will write a proposal. You write a proposal, you can write as a team, and then they subgrant small amounts of money to you and help you to grow. So it's a very good strategy for anyone who wants to grow fast. Identify a mentor, approach them, talk to them, see how you can work together, how they can hold your hand and walk this journey. So those are some of the ideas, but basically there's a lot. And the purpose of this session was really to help you to see there's a lot of local resources around you that you can actually, leverage on, but you have to think outside the normal traditional fundraising strategies, the usual grant writing, which I know I am big on, but especially for startups, please take advantage of other strategies like we have talked. See how you can work with your communities, with your board members to leverage resources. See how you can use the online space, which probably do a different session. I realize it is a huge, a whole lesson around the online space. But basically, it's about thinking outside the box and taking advantage of the network that you have and the community people around you and the individuals and the corporates. All of them. And that brings me to the end of my presentation for today. I would want to invite questions. You can put them on the chat, or you can actually just ask your question, or even just feedback. I want to give people permission to unmute themselves and say something. Anyone, feel free.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. William?
Yes, William here. I'm from Nairobi, Dagoretti.
Yes.
It's a very interesting session that we've just had, and it's an eye-opener. Thanks very much for providing that platform and this opportunity. I run a community-based organization, Uwezo CBO, and actually it's just now that one of my good friends is helping me do what we call it's like just checking on where we are in terms of structures.
Yes.
Because I really had the will and the zeal to do something for the community. We've done it, but in a very local way. We identify a shosho who wants a house. We just fundraise and we build.
Yes, exactly.
I come across a kid who doesn't have a school fees. I just do a small video, we post, we have sponsors, and that's that. But I really now need to get grip and hold it on the ground and make it work. Some of the things that you talked about are very important, and it's an eye opener. And I would want us now, because of course it's on air, I will want us to have a different chat off air, so that we can really go deep into what you just talked about, proposal writing and other things.
Yes.
And now how to put these structures in place, and maybe help us also identify some of these guys that we can work with, who are these big brothers that can hold our hands, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but much appreciated.
Thank you, William, and I'm glad to hear that you're already taking advantage of these approaches. And like you're saying, once you have built a portfolio where you can show what you have been doing, then it's easy now for you to start, structuring yourself, to start approaching other people, because you already have something. And like when you go and you're trying to convince people of an idea, it's a different where you have photos, you have stories, you have videos of how you have supported your community. So then your story becomes, people want to hear you, and they start thinking, how can we actually work together? So we can have an off-air discussion, definitely.
True.
And see how I can support you further.
Yes, you can visit Uwezo CBO Kenya.
Okay.
It's our website, so we can also get in touch there.
Oh, sure. We'll talk.
Yes, you're giving us your number on air?
I am assuming you have my number by now.
Let me see. Oh, yes.
Just stay here. You'll get my contacts. My contacts are out. My contact is out there for anyone. You can always call me. You can always. I prefer WhatsApp though, so that But I'll share my number before the end of the session. But I also want to say most of these things, actually, I don't know whether you've heard about my book. Most of these things are actually very well outlined in my book, because I've just picked some of the topics that are one of the topics that is, I felt, based on many questions that keeps coming. But if you've seen my book, a few people I know here have read it. I have actually given a clear strategy of how you can build, all these steps from the start, from registration to the end. I'll be introducing you to the book for if you have not seen it. But basically, the book also helps you a lot to think through the steps and what you need to do. So thank you, William. We'll keep in touch. Anyone else, feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question.
Thank you.
Let me check also in the chat. I can see someone is asking whether it's being recorded. Sure, it's being recorded, and I will be sharing it if you need. Thank you, Lucy. I'm glad I have gotten affirmation and confirmation that my thoughts are in concurrent with your presentation. You're quite a resource. Thank you so much. Yes, and I may not tell you something new for sure, Pam. I like, even William is saying you're already doing it. But what I realized is we at times get discouraged. And so for me, I really want to encourage you. This is the way to go. You have to keep doing something. So what happens is at times we are human beings. Even when we are running our businesses, we run and then we wanted it to grow very fast. But the reality is it's a slow process, but you're on the right track. If you continue doing what you're doing, you will get there. The next thing, like William, you said, that the idea of actually having a mentor, I've seen it work also very well. It really helps an organization. It can really help you to grow very fast and boost your work, especially when you've already been doing all these things. So if you take time and identify a good organization that is willing to support you, it can really take you far and help you to fast track and grow very fast. So thank you, Pam, for that. Anyone else with a question or a comment? It doesn't have to be a question or an addition. You know, I'm just sharing what I know. I'm not an expert in everything. Yes, someone.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yes.
Yes, Lucy. Thank you for the. I'm Mzungu Ngoma from Malindi in Cliffy County.
Yes.
Thank you for the presentation. One of the major challenges is getting the right people to the board. Particularly those of us who are working in the rural areas. You very well know that in the Kenyan perspective, the best brains are drained from the rural to Nairobi.
Yes.
And so for those who are in Nairobi, have an added advantage of getting the best brains and compose a sound board. But for those who are in the rural areas, getting people who are willing to, and as you very well know, many Kenyans, you know, when they go to a place, being appointed as a committee member or being appointed as a board member, there are high expectations than what you would think. People would come accepting to serve, but on the other way around, they have high expectations of earning from being a board member. What is your advice? How best can one be able to compose? It's a process. What would you advise?
Wow, that's a tough one. I was hoping you'd be giving us some advice on how to go around it. I'm not sure I have a direct answer, but I guess right now things are becoming a bit easier with the digital, within the digital space, the opening up, because I see people being board members and you don't have to travel as much. It's still not easy because in the rural area, they may not have the Zoom and all that. But I think with the digital space, it's becoming easier and easier for people even who are far off to support you with the ideas and all that. But I really cannot say I have an answer for that, because at the end of the day, it's about really looking for people who support you. And it's good you've raised that about the rural areas. And I hadn't sincerely really thought about it from that perspective. It might be hard. Yeah, so thank you for the challenge. I don't know whether anyone has an answer or how we can go about it. Feel
Actually,
free to share.
what Mzungu Ngoma just said is, it's a very interesting concept, because again, even if it's good for him to know, even if they come to Nairobi, it's more of a capitalist space. So they'll of course go to the highest bidder. So if you're a startup, again, even if you're in Nairobi, even if you have the best brains around, you still don't get these guys, because as he said, they have expectations. And expectations is pay, and this pay is what we don't have when we are beginning this journey. So it's a tricky space to be in. Actually, forming that board, whether you're in the village or you're in Nairobi, I think it's a tough space to be in from both fronts. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And I think I agree with you. I think it's our culture also, because when I look at the organization, the international organization, and how their boards run, it's very different from here in Kenya, definitely. The international, you find they really take their role seriously. But for us here, it's really a struggle, even as you're saying, getting the right people and getting them to even understand what is their role as board members. People come with expectations. So I think it's an area that we need also to do a lot of education to our people. If you are a board member, what does it really mean to be a board member? It's not to sit and expect, but it's actually a service. It's giving back as a board member. So yeah, those are the challenges that we have to deal with, and it's good they are being raised by this team. Yeah, so thank you, William, for sharing that. Anyone else can add Anything else either around the board or any other? And thank you so much also Mzungu for sharing that. And also for the feedback. I remember you just given me feedback about my book, which I wish I could have added it in this presentation for the others to see. But anyway, maybe you can also comment for others who may be wondering whether to buy or not. You can say a word if you so wish. It's not a coercion.
Thank you, Lucy. Actually, the book is very, very interesting. Only that I would advise people to buy the book and read it carefully. The only difference is that what is actually contained in the book then calls for those who are called, you know, I think it might be not the best language, but I would refer it to be those who are called, who are out to really support, because you know, some of us are in this sector with a different perspective. But if you are a founder member, if you have that spirit to assist, then you know, I was looking at the book and I was saying it is not a fundraising book, but it is a book for the basic establishment of an organization, which is very, very crucial. I was looking at it from that perspective, that if you read that book, if you have been involved in this kind of work, I would rather not call it a fundraising book, but I would look at it as a book for a sort of laying the foundation of the establishment of an organization. Otherwise, I would advise people to buy and read, because it is a practical book, down to earth, and it is actually giving you where to start rather than the way we have been starting things in our local communities, particularly in this sector. Thank you.
Thank you. That's good feedback. Actually, the intention of the book was really to help people see where to start. And that's why I say, actually, the title is the basics. It's the fundamentals, because without those fundamentals, then you find yourself struggling a lot with fundraising. It's about the kickstarting, the 10 simple ways, simple things that you need to do fast to kickstart your fundraising journey. So for me, I see, like you said, correct, it's actually a foundation. It's it will help you build a strong foundation, and so that you do not struggle so much, you know, in future, or wondering why you're not getting support from people. It's a key fundamental issue when it comes to fundraising. So thank you so much for that feedback. Anyone else want to comment something? Say something?
Maybe just to touch on the book. Okay, I don't know the book, but I know I will. I'm an audiovisual producer, and I might have ideas on how to take it further. Yeah.
Okay,
so
I'll reach out to you. Thank you.
The discussion going.
Okay. All right. So just allow me to, before we end the session, to share with you some of the products that I have. And of course, I'll start with the book, which I basically share very simple tools and techniques to help you assess your organization's fundraising capacity and to identify the steps that you need to take so that you can move your needle or take your organization to the next level. Identify and prioritize your fundraising needs. It will help you to figure out how to do donor mapping and prospects, identifying who are the key people you need to network with, you need to partner with and such, and to help you also take advantage of the local resources within your reach and have a clear roadmap, to guide you into your fundraising journey. Where do you start? Where do you end? So that's a book we've been talking about. I just released it a while ago, and it's on offer for now for up to 5th of October, and it's going for 500 shillings. So a very practical book, not big, very simple, written in very simple language. That's one feedback I've also received. So easy to understand, especially for founders. It's actually targeting founders. If you see even the title, it's a guide for startup nonprofits to help you know where to start. And yeah, it's available on my website, www.lucyjoy.com. you can send you the specific link if you're interested, but I would really encourage you, if you're a founder, to take to buy yourself this copy. It only goes for 500 Kenya shillings. It's very easy to buy it. Once you get the link, if you click on the link, you see somewhere written claim your copy. Just click on claim your copy, and then it will ask for your billing details, which is basically your details, your name, your email address. And then after that, you'll be given options. You can buy using M-Pesa. If you click on M-Pesa, it will send you that, notification for you to fill in your M-Pesa PIN. If you want to buy with your card again, you enter your card details, and you're able to get the book within 1 minute. You are done with this process, and you get a page that gives you a place to download, and you also get a copy on your email. But because I also know we are Kenyans, if you find it easy to just send the money directly to me, I'll also make sure that you get your copy. But it's a very simple process that you can easily get your book. My other product, very quickly, that most of you know me about, I think most of you know me for proposal writing. This is what I have been doing. So I have a proposal writing course, an online course, self-paced, but again, with a lot of my support. So once you get this course, it helps you to really help package your ideas very well. So I take people through a 5-module course to help you organize your ideas and write them down clearly, concisely, and in a convincing manner. It helps you to acquire a core skill that is very critical. As you know, whether it's a business or organization, proposal writing becomes very important. And for some people who are interested in becoming grant writers or making it a career, again, you gain skills that help you to put very high quality proposals. And it's a 5-module course, like I said, helping you starting from how to identify the best fit proposals, how to define your problem, package your strategic approaches and your methodology, and again, the M&E framework, and how to package the other components of a proposal that many times people tend to ignore: the capacity statement, your budget, your past performance references. So it's a very comprehensive course. And I also offer a lot of one-on-one support, live sessions for if you're struggling with any topic, or if you want more support. Every module has a worksheet that helps you to be very practical, to put what you've learned into practice. And we do weekly live sessions to support students. So the course goes for 15,000 Kenya shillings, and I just want to encourage you to buy. If you buy the course, you get also a lot of free or other bonuses, including the book. So that if you buy the course, you also get the book for free, and it's a very comprehensive course, especially for those who are already at a point of writing grants. It will help you to be able to move to the next level. I also do offer services for people who would want me to help them to review their concept notes, to review their proposals. Again, we can talk around that. We also do tailor-made trainings for organizations. If you want for me to come and specifically train your organization on fundraising, basically on proposal writing, we are coming up with a fundraising training, which will be more broad, how to come up with your strategy, fundraising strategies, and the different methods. But for now, this is what I'm able to offer. So again, I have a lot of free things, a lot of templates that anyone can access. Some are for free, some at a very throwaway price. We have a self-evaluation tool, the tool that helps you to figure out where you are as an organization, and especially when it comes to making a decision as to whether you want to proceed and apply for the proposal or not. So that is for free. We have proposal plan templates if you want to know how to plan the whole proposal writing process, especially when you're writing huge grants. You need a very good plan. So we have a planning template that's available for free. Proposal templates for free. Then I also have modules. If you want to just learn, for example, about M&E and nothing else, you can get a specific module. If you want to learn about the problem, how to come up with your problem statement, you can get that module. Goes for 2,999. And so I just want to encourage you, reach out to me for whatever services you have. These services are available on my website. Not all of them. I'm transitioning from one platform to another, but soon everything will be on my website, which is very easy to remember because it's just www.lucyjoy.com, full stop. The other one I know is a bit complicated, but nevertheless, if you are interested, you can always reach out to me, and that's my number. Please take note of my number if you do not have my email address, as well as my Facebook account. But WhatsApp works perfectly for me. So anytime you can reach me through my WhatsApp number, and I will try and respond to as many. Actually, I respond to all of them, maybe late, but I always respond. So with that, I just want to really thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with you and for your also contribution. And I want to bring it to an end. However, if there's anyone who would like to say something before we end, kindly feel free. It's an interactive session. Feel free to comment on anything you wish, or even put it on the chat. The hard copy, someone is asking about the hard copy book. I don't have a hard copy yet. Step by step, we are all doing step by step. So for now, I have the soft copy. The hard copy will come along the way. Someone is asking for the recording. Fine, I will have it edited and then I will share it on YouTube channel probably. Yes. Any other concern? All right, so if there's none, I thank you so much, everyone, for your time. It was such a pleasure to have you this evening, and I just want to keep encouraging each other. Keep doing what you're doing, keep carrying your vision, don't drop it. There's going to be, at the end of the day, there's going to be something good coming out of your good work. And it's not easy, but we have to keep going. And if for anything else, let me just encourage you, please do not give up on your visions. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening.